Hello everyone and welcome to the expert live session by ParentCircle.com. Today, a major concern for every parent is how to go about planning for their child's education. Education is becoming a very costly proposition in these days. Hence, it is imperative that financial planning be done at an early age so that we do not have to make compromises for things that we may want to do for our children. Today we have with us Dr. A.V. Senthil, who will be talking about and taking up questions on financial planning for your child's education. A little about our speaker for the day. A.V. Senthil is a doctorate in commerce from University of Madras with specialization in managing finances and investments. He has over 25 years of investing experience in various asset classes, debt, equity, real estate, and commodities. Currently, he is heading the wealth and mentoring verticals at Metal's family office. We welcome you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It is going to be an interactive session today, so viewers, please feel free to drop your questions in the comments box below, and our experts will be taking up the questions during the session. With no further delay, we'll start with the questions that we have already got in our circles, after which we'll move on to the questions that we are getting during the session. So, Doctor, our first question that we have got is, my kids who are twins are doing LKG. For this class itself, we are spending in lakhs as school fee, daycare fee, and music class fee. I wonder how it's actually to plan and save for their complete educational and extracurricular expenses.
Thank you, Reshma. Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank ParentCircle for inviting me. And I would like to thank all the people who have asked questions. Definitely, kids' education is a kind of number one priority for any parent. And I would like to congratulate Vidya for being a very, very responsible mom who wants to plan for the kids' education. I can very well understand, like today, like the parents spend a couple of lakhs of rupees, even for pre-KG, LKG, and the basic foundation questions. How to plan for this? Now, let me start with a few examples first. The example is like this. Now, let's say I'm making 100 rupees. That's my salary. Now, how much should I spend? How much should I save? When I say spending, the spending can be towards household stuff, or the spending can be for education of the kid, or sometimes I have to pay for the EMI for the car, or I have to pay EMI for the apartment which I'm going to take, right? So I would say these are the three major types of spending that happens, and there is a saving. As a thumb rule, it's a general thumb rule, I would say that if my take-home pay is 100 rupees, I would recommend about 50 rupees of it can be spent towards all kind of expenses, including kids' education. Now, I have another 50 rupees. What should I do with the 50 rupees? I really don't know about Vidya Lakshmi, whether like she's already having an apartment, whether she's having all the cars, whether she has any EMI. I really don't know. Let us assume that she is also having a home loan. Let's assume that she's also having a car loan. I would say that out of the remaining 50, 30 rupees can be spent on EMIs, because we all need to have a lifestyle. We all need to have our own homes. So what happens? So 50 goes for your basic expenses, 30 goes towards your EMI, and the last 20 should be towards your investment. Now, being kids, we are talking about 2 kids and only doing LKG. That's a good thing. She wants to start planning for the finances when the kid is in LKG. So I think she would say have at least 14 years, 13 years to 14 years to build the corpus. So I would say at least 20% of her take home should go into it. Now let's assume that she's staying in a joint family. Let's assume that she's having a very good house. Let's assume that there is no EMI at all. My suggestion is that around 40% of it at least should be saved. Now, where she is going to save that, being a very long term, for example, we are talking about 11 years and 12 years, I think we should look at the risk profile of Vidya Lakshmi, whether she can stay invested for a little longer time. If Vidya can stay invested for a little longer time with markets going up and going down and all that stuff, I would say something like direct equities or equity mutual funds are the best things to invest for children's education when she has about 14 years.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So our next question is it advisable to have children take educational loans for higher studies?
Ah, okay. The answer is yes. In most of the scenarios. If I take 3 scenarios, I would say out of the 3 scenarios, in 2 scenarios, you have to take a home loan. What are those? I don't have money, but I want to send my kid to the US or UK for abroad for education. The answer is obviously yes. I need to take a home loan. Sorry, not home, educational loan. I have to take a loan. Correct? Now, what are the advantages of taking an educational loan? Now, the educational loan comes at a different rates of interest. Let's say it comes at 10%, it comes at 11% or at 12% or whatever. It comes at different rates of interest depending upon the quantum of loan. Now, the Income Tax Act gives certain benefits to the parents for those who are taking loan. So, for example, these kind of loans are extended for 10-year duration. So, it's not that you have to pay it tomorrow or day after or 1 year, not 2 years. You have a window of repayment of 10 years, so which is really good for the parents. Now, I don't have money. I want to send the kid abroad to US and I will take an educational loan. Now, even if I'm going to pay 12% as an interest, the good thing is income tax department gives you an allowance, for example, the interest, whatever you're going to pay can be knocked off from your income. So, for example, if I'm already getting, let's say, 10 lakhs as an income, and let's assume that I'm in the highest tax bracket of 30% as a tax bracket, and I'm taking an educational loan for 12%, the good thing is, whatever the interest which I'm going to pay to the bank, I can write it off from my income. So my suggestion is go for a educational loan. Point number 2, if you're taking an educational loan for a, let's say, master's, MS in financial engineering or MS in mechanical engineering, if you take like that, I think the child will also know that, look at it, my parents are suffering there, they have taken the home loan. And I used to live in the US for 7 years. Between 1997 and 2002, 2003, I used to be there in the US. All those kids who came there for studies were more responsible when those parents who took educational loan. They used to do all kinds of jobs. When I say all kinds of jobs, don't think things the other way. I'm talking about all kinds of jobs means helping a library or helping a restaurant, taking care of all kind of things because they know that the value of money. So I think Shriram asked that question, if I remember right. I think I would say answer is yes.
Okay.
Now, I will also say the answer is no. Don't take an educational loan under one scenario. I don't know the background of Shriram. Let's assume that Shriram is cash rich. He's cash rich. And he has parked all the money in savings bank. Or he has put all the money in fixed deposits. Correct? Then what happens? In a savings bank, he's going to get only 4%. In a fixed deposit, how much is going to get? 7% is going to get. Now, if he goes for a loan, he has to pay how much? 12%. There is no point in paying the bank 12%. Even after taking the tax benefit of 30%, it doesn't make sense. So my suggestion is that you should take an educational loan, especially when you're sending your children abroad. That's the answer. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So the next question. My first hero is right now in grade 7 and my junior hero is in grade 1 and planning for abroad education for grade 11 for both so what should be my financial planning for education? So what should be my planning for their professional entrepreneurship life ahead?
So there are 2 parts to this question. Yeah. So one part to the question is, once again, Manoj, I think I would like to appreciate Manoj. One of the kids is once again the grade 1 and he wants to plan for kids education, and not only for the kids education, after undergrad and grad, if they want to start an entrepreneurship, hey, what is that I should be doing, right? So once again, whatever I said for Vidya, I think applies for Manoj as well. That means 50% of whatever should be the expenses. The remaining 50 needs to be like either for building the comforts or for saving. That's one thing. Now, if you want to plan a kitty, plan for a corpus, how much corpus that I should build? There are 4 factors that you should be aware of it. We really don't know, which country he's going to send. Whether he's going to send it to Philippines or whether he's going to send it to Australia or whether he's going to send it to US or the UK, we don't know. And each and every country costs are different. Point number one. Point number two, even within US, if the kid is going to study in the East Coast or in the West Coast, the cost of education is slightly higher as compared to other cities. Let's say I'm going to study in Arkansas or I'm going to study in Denver. I would say the cost of study in that particular city will be lesser as compared to I'm going to study in California or in New York. So there's going to be cost differences. So it's the city. The third one is the heroes are studying. Good thing. I really like the way he's addressing his kids as heroes, right? Now, if you talk about those 2 heroes, we don't know which course they are going to take.
Yeah.
Now, the course could be whether it's going to be medicine or whether it's going to be engineering or whether it's going to be fine arts or any other course which I really don't know. And that's going to. And I also don't know about the lifestyle of these kids. Sometimes what happens is we also want to ensure that the lifestyle is also taken care. Now, all these things needs to be taken into account. But Manoj has asked a very vital question. Give me a number. Give me a number how much I should do it. So I was thinking about this question. Thanks, Manoj. You posted it sometime yesterday or so. I think I had some time to do some work for you. So what I came up with is for every kid, every month, you have to save 2 lakhs per month. 2 lakhs per month is roughly about something like $2,500. It's not a big amount we are talking about in US dollars. So if you talk about $2,500, you should start saving now per kid. Now, what will happen to this $2,500? He will start investing in an instrument which will start growing. Now that he'll be able to do it. Similarly, for the other kid also, I would suggest he has to save 2 lakhs per month, where he should be saving this kind of a money for such a long term. Now, for the first hero who is in grade 7, I'm talking about another 4 or 5 years or 6 years. So I would say a balanced fund, because we are talking about 6-7 years. I would say a balanced mutual fund which invests in debt and equity should be good. But if you look at the second hero who is only in grade 1, I think we should take some risk for him. When I say risk, I'm saying it's not actual risk. I'm talking about the longevity is very high. The volatility can be there, ups and downs could be there. I would say he should invest in companies like small cap companies. I'll give you an example. For example, in Chennai, there's a company called Britannia Industries, which makes Little Heart, Magic, and all that kind of. If you talk about that company 20 years back or 15 years back, it was a very small cap company. But over a point in time, Britannia has got so big, right? My suggestion is he has to invest in small caps and mid caps for the second hero, because we are talking about something like 12, 13 years. So that will really help. Now, another part of the question is the entrepreneurship. What he has to do for the professional entrepreneurship. Once again, we don't know how much it's going to be. My suggestion is, if he makes 100 rupees, let him save 1 rupee for this professional entrepreneurship. So if he's going to make 2 lakhs, he has to save 2,000. If he's going to make 2 crores, he has to save at least 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs, whatever. I'm talking about 1 to 2% has to be saved for the kid. That's the answer.
So we have got a question online right now. After taking an education loan of 32 lakhs, my son has still not got a job in the US. I'm a retired man. Please help. It's by a person called Keshav.
Hi, Keshav. Many parents are going through this right now. Keshav, and you are not the only person. I would say that and it creates a lot of anxiety. We are taking 32 lakhs, and even if you talk about a 10% interest, we are talking about 3 lakhs, and we are talking about 25,000 rupees a month as interest, right? And the job market in the US either goes up or there is some kind of ups and downs is there. But I really don't know what his son has studied, whether it's an information technology or whether it's a mechanical engineering or whether it is robotics. I really don't know. Okay. Now, my suggestion to Keshav is, I think your son has to build a very good network. When I say how to build a network, LinkedIn is very powerful. Okay. And friends, especially the friends that he has developed in the US, will come in handy. Okay. The interpersonal relationship of the kid makes a huge difference. Now, what will happen is, as a person, if I'm really good, I'm able to connect, I think people as a friend will help others also. In the US, most of the jobs are done through referrals. Hey, I know this person. I think this person is really good, right? So I wish that he gets a job very quickly. But if he is finding very difficult to service the loan, okay, maybe he has to go to the banker. Instead of a 10-year loan, he has to go and check whether he can get extra additional 1 or 2 years extension. Or whether he can also get a kind of a stop. Like, for example, if its financials are very difficult to service the loan, he should go and say that, I'm willing to pay the interest, but for next 6 months, don't charge me interest, right? But I'll pay you. Okay, you can ask for that kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I hope that's helpful for him. So another question is, my son is 8 years old. Please advise how to save income by a middle-class family for kids' future studies, where the present education lifestyle itself is so expensive. Nowadays, we are saving money for getting tax benefit.
If you look at 100 parents in India, I would say that 90 parents fall into this category. That means both the parents are working, husband and wife are working, and they are only saving money only for income tax. Hey, I don't want to pay the government. For that, I would like to take Section 80C. Let me invest in public provident fund. Let me invest in provident fund. That's what they are doing it. And I very well agree with this person, whoever the anonymous person is. I agree with it. But I think what she needs is a kind of an advice from a financial planner. Now, today what happens is, a financial planner is like a doctor. It takes, I would say, about very, very less money. I would say 2,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees for a 2-hour session. So my suggestion is spend that 2,000 rupees. Find out who's a good financial planner. Okay. Once she knows he's a financial advisor or a financial planner, spend some time with them to understand your finances. When I say finances, what are my incomes? What are my expenses? What are my assets? What are my liabilities? The income minus expenses gives you savings. Assets minus liability tells you what is my net worth. And she will also have some goals. My goal is education is one goal. I want to go abroad. Could be for vacation. That could be another goal. I want to plan for the kids' marriage. That could be another goal. I want to buy a 2 BHK apartment. That could be a goal. Correct? For example, no, I want to buy, let's say, a car worth 10 lakhs. That could be a goal. Now, what happens is, if she goes to a financial planner, has this open discussion, okay, and he will prepare a plan and then say that, I think this is what is there. And I would suggest there will be only minor corrections he has to make. By making those minor corrections, I'm sure she will be able to manage her finances beautifully well.
So, next question. My son is 10 years old. I would like to invest money for his education. Please suggest a combination of fixed and variable return schemes.
Aha, good. I think this person who was Nitya, okay. I think Nitya seems to be very knowledgeable, because the question is very pointed if you look at it. She is asking that I want to know schemes which will deliver fixed returns and variable returns. Beautiful. Fixed returns are those kind of schemes like I want to invest in a fixed deposit, or I want to invest in provident fund, or I want to invest in public provident fund. Those are fixed investment schemes. Now, variable investment schemes are those things where I will never know whether this year I'm going to make 5% or next year I'm going to make 10% or 15%, I'm going to make 0%. I really don't. Now, good thing is her son is only 10 years old, and we are talking about next 6 years or 7 years. By the time graduation starts is about, I would say, 6 years.
6 years.
6 years. For the fixed return part of it, I really don't know what tax bracket she is in. Now, assuming that she is at 30% tax bracket or whatever, my suggestion is she can invest in RBI bonds. When I say RBI bonds, they will give 7.75% or 8%, less than 8% they'll give. Now, she being in the 30% tax bracket, she has to pay taxes for the fixed income.
Oh.
Now, I need to understand what is the risk profile. If she is willing to take little bit of risk, my suggestion is that is even for fixed return schemes, there are debt mutual funds are there. I'm talking about a long-term 5-year debt mutual funds, which invest either in government papers or which invest in AAA rated company fixed deposits and bonds. Now, what happens is the tax that she's going to pay will be lower. Okay. Alternatively, for example, let's assume that there's going to be a father or mother who is also assuming that they have some corpus and they are not in the taxable bracket. Okay. And maybe she can write a gift to the father, okay, and they can invest in that particular RBI bonds and then make it 7.75 tax free on the fixed side. On the variable side, I'm talking about once again about 6 years, right? For the 6-year duration, I don't know whether she's going to invest in one time or whether she's going to invest every month. If she is going to invest in one time all the money, my suggestion is that she invests in a large cap mutual fund for 6 years, being an educational goal. But let's assume that she wants to, let's say, invest on a monthly basis. I was talking about the 100, 50, 30, and 20. The 20 is for the savings. Let's assume that she's going to put the 20 into every month on month she's going to do it. She can also look at a combination of large and mid cap, even though it's for 6 years. Okay, we need to understand the risk profile she wants to take. Right?
Thank you, sir. So we have got another question from Surya Prabha. My child is 1 year old. Is this the right time to start investing for education?
The best day to start an investment for a kid is on the date of birth. Not even after 1 year. So that means she has to start immediately. I have 2 daughters. Now, the first investment that I made is within 30 days. Why it took about 30 days? Because I didn't finalize the name of the kid. Because you need to have a birth certificate and it takes about 30 days to do it. So the right way to do it is immediate. Now, where to invest, how to invest, and all that stuff, I think I need to have a discussion. And then say, for example, what is the risk-taking capability, how much she can save. But she has to save. Whether it is as low as 1,000 rupees a month or whether as high as 20,000 rupees a month, the answer is she has to save. Immediately.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. I have 2 daughters, one in 6th standard, the other is in 3rd standard. I want to send them abroad for their studies. How much money should I invest every month to achieve this goal?
Good evening, Nitya. Happy that you are having a very specific goal and you want to save this goal on a monthly basis. I assume that regularly meaning monthly basis, right? As usual, I have some few questions before I answer this query. You want to send your kids abroad either for undergraduation or for graduation. When I say undergraduation, the kids can do the engineering or the basic stuff in India. And when you talk about masters, that differs. Yeah. If anybody sends for master, I think we got a question as well. Yeah. To do a master's in US, it takes about 30-40 lakhs, not more than that. But if you want to send it for Under graduation, the cost is very high. So we need to understand that. Also, as always, the country to which she wants to send, whether it's Australia or whether it's Singapore, National University of Singapore, not very expensive, provided she gets scholarship, or US or a UK. That makes this one. So it's actually little early to decide. Okay, my suggestion is if she's making 100 rupees, let us save 10% of it. If she takes 100 rupees as the take-home salary, because I don't know all these factors, but I have to give an answer to her. If she makes 100, let us say 10% towards this. Whether it is 1 lakh or whether it is 50,000 or whatever, this will keep going. And most important is that discipline has to be there, and she should not take the money in between.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. My child is in the 10th standard. He wants to take SAT after 12th grade to pursue mechanical engineering in the US. How much should be my budget? What can I do to get educational loan in case he does not get a scholarship?
Very, very specific question. I like these kind of specific questions saying that 2 years, this is a particular thing that I want to do, mechanical engineering, and also mentioning the country. I think the question is very specific. Now, I did a little bit of research. I think this question came 2 days back. I did a little bit of research as well. It costs anywhere between $25,000 to $50,000 a year. And I assume that these kind of courses will go for 4 years. These kind of questions will go for 4 years. Now, she has to plan for about $100,000 to $200,000. That's the range. Why that range is, as I said, whether the kid is going to study in California or in Arkansas, or whether the kid is going to study in Denver, the college differs, right? But the amount which I quoted includes all kind of expenses, including travel, accommodation, and all that stuff. Now, with respect to the loans, right? Both public sector banks like SBI and the private sector banks like HDFC, both of them are willing to provide educational loan. Okay. My suggestion is she reaches to her banker first, wherever the salary is getting credited, right? She has to reach to the existing banker, talk to them, get a quote. So a little bit of work she has to do, and she has to evaluate the terms and conditions. If I get some extra money, can I go and pay it back? My interest will go down and all that stuff. I want to wish her son the very best for a rocking career.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So I think we're almost we're almost the end of the session today. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for spending your time with us here for this lovely session, very informative. And I hope a lot of parents would have got very specific answers to their queries. And this is not going to end here. If you viewers have any more queries, feel free to post them in our discussion forums, and we will be taking it up even after today's session. And yes, please subscribe to our channel to stay tuned with more such informative and interactive live sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reshmi, and thank you, ParentCircle. I mean, kids' education is very, very close to anyone's heart. And I have always seen, like, if I go and talk to a parent, that I need to talk to your parent for about 5 minutes about the kids, actually they gave 50 minutes. Okay? And financial education planning is very, very important. Please take time, and it's not very difficult, and it's very easy. And I'm wishing each one of the parent to ensure that the kids' education, the dreams are met. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.